You know my guest from shows like The Electric Playground and Reviews on the Run. It's been a while since we've had Scott Jones on EP Live, but he is here to get caught up with all of us and to tell us about his... were you standing up to show off a body part?
Well, I really have tight abs, and I want people to see that I work hard.
All right, we'll take a pause for the ab commercial from Scott Jones.
I needed to get more comfortable. I'm sorry I moved. Jesus,
no, it's
Vic.
good.
This is
it's
why
good.
I don't do your show.
It's good, buddy. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Happy fall. What's the weather like in the massive city that is Toronto, Ontario, Canada?
It's starting to get a little chilly. You know, I love the fall. That's when my 5-star wardrobe starts coming out.
Yeah.
The
fancy tracksuits.
My favorite flannels. I just feel more like myself in the fall. And I'm just kind of, I'm not a big summer guy. I'm not a beach guy. You can't really, play the Switch on the beach. I can't see it. It's too bright.
Yes.
And what if he gets sand in the joysticks? Then what?
I know. It is amazing how the deluge, the game avalanche, happens just as the cold and rainy season happens and times out perfectly. The guilt goes away because you can just be lost at home.
I got to tell you something, though. I really miss you. I miss my old job. I just miss you. I miss the work together. Like, I have so many great memories.
It was magic.
It was really wonderful. We had a really good run,
I agree, man. We built a lot of things that we can be proud of, and people comment on all the time that they're, some of the favorite episodes of the show, and everybody misses you, and Mrs. Marissa, and people still ask about Tommy. Where's Tommy? I still get that a lot too. But media is so strange, dude. It's different.
The people I see the most here are really Steve and Raju.
That's awesome.
Because, Steve left his newspaper job.
Yep.
Raju is the last person I know with an old-fashioned media job.
Yes.
And he's happy, and everybody's doing well, and they're both doing well. I actually haven't seen them in a month or two. They've been really busy, and I've been busy, and Raju's the only one besides you who has a legitimate family, so he's got things he's got to take care of and family members to visit and things like that.
Yeah.
But I miss my old life. I don't really miss reviewing games, honestly. I miss arguing with you. I don't miss the process of, is this game a 6 or a 7? Is Vic going to give it a 9? How many times can I make that joke? It's just like, I want to talk about games in a different way. I just feel like I was really ready for that.
Oh yeah, you were. Yeah. Especially when we got those 6 out of 10 games. That was every time. It's like, what are we doing with our lives? Every single time.
How could you not feel that way? Like, I'm not going to just wait around for The Last of Us 2 to come out. I need to move on. I need to do some other things.
I totally agree. But from my vantage point, I feel like the job is to, and that's what I always tell you, the job is to play these things to let people know if they're worth their time or not, And for most of the games weren't worth your time, though. That was part of it.
No. But it was fun and surreal, and it was weird to wear suits for a while. It was weird to see you naked every day, and we had a great time,
We're live right now, Scott.
The way that we, I'd put powder on you and you'd put powder on me.
We'd spike our hair together. One of my favorite things that we ever shot was that homage to Siskel and Ebert, man.
Yeah, I know. You repost it every now and then.
Well, every time it comes up on Facebook, I'm like, wow, I'm so glad that we did this. Oh, we got you in a dress on a clip right now. This is amazing. Yeah, you wore the Princess Peach dress. You were shameless. I think you went down. You stripped down to your underwear in one of the Rocket and Reagan awards.
I don't know what I was doing. Every time we watch that Siskel and Ebert thing, that's the jacket I'm always looking for. I lost that.
I know.
Jacket.
I can't find it. I think Anderson's wearing it.
It's okay.
No, he's not.
It's a beautiful jacket. I lost. Honestly, in my last couple of years there, I lost lots of things. And it's just like we moved offices and things got moved around, and
you got out of Dodge.
I did. I miss Vancouver. Is it raining like hell today?
No, today we got a break, but the last few days has been great gaming weather. Yeah. But Vancouver misses you. Every time that I'm out and somebody recognizes me, they ask about you, and they ask about Marissa, and they ask about Tommy and the other guys too. But you come up in conversation a lot, and we would be fine with you moving back to Vancouver, right? Everybody would be cool, yeah? A lot of room on this stage here. A lot of room.
I don't know. I like talking about games from different angles. I mean, I still love the video game industry, and I always will. And I still, I went to E3 this year. I saw you at E3.
Yeah, we had a great conversation.
We had dinner. Yeah, yep. And there's just so much to love about this medium, and so many people, and so many development teams, and to a lesser degree, the publishers, but there's just so many good people and so many good hearts and souls in this business. I mean, there are some jerks, but I love these people, and I always want to be part of whatever's going on in the video game industry. Yeah. And so I'm just always looking for ways to get involved with production, and I'm always looking for ways to tell new stories about video games.
Yeah, I mean, what we're starting to see a little bit now as the industry is maturing is some of the, there are some darker stories, and we're starting to see some of the ego, and we're starting to see some Me Too stuff, and there is this element there that has been obscured a bit. And even what's been surprising to me too is a little bit of hero worship for indie developers that has turned dark. But pushing all that aside, I think one of the best things about video games is the fact that it's a medium that's still defining itself, and people still feel very protective of it, and they want to be a part of whatever this medium becomes. And everybody knows that brick by brick, we're building whatever this thing is going to evolve into. It's still small. It's still a small business that reaches a huge amount of people, and it's made by really, really clever, interesting individuals out there, and you're mining that.
Yeah, I am mining it, and that's really where I want to shine a spotlight at this point. I really feel like nobody's talking to the gamers themselves, and so I really wanted to build something where I had a conversation with the gamers, and I talked to them. And because gamers in my life, they've always been my favorite people. Part of the joy that I experience when I go to a game store. I don't even know if there are game stores left in Vancouver. There's very few here now, and there's fewer and fewer every day. Yeah. But I always love talking to the people behind the counter. I always love talking to the other people that are shopping. What are they looking for? Oh, I used to have a copy of that. I love those conversations. I love that our circles overlap in the ways that they do.
Now you talk to them with a microphone in your pocket, though. Now you've got a microphone in your pocket. You're ready for a podcast interview. I am. That's why I started making Heavily Pixelated. We're working on season 2 right now, and it is a load of work, like an unbelievable amount of work. I've never worked harder in my life, but I really wanted to make a show that really just articulated something that nobody really had tried to articulate before, and that is the role that video games play in our lives, what they do for us exactly. I'm still trying, I'm always trying to say, what games have done for myself, what they've done for other people. And I just kind of wanted to build a show that really celebrated the gamer. I wanted to celebrate how evolved they are. I wanted to celebrate how articulate and smart and introspective and in touch with their own psyches they are. That's interesting for me. I love stories. I've lived through lots of great stories in my life. You have too. We all have. If you get to be my age, you have stories. And so I want gamers to have an opportunity to tell those stories, the difficult times in their lives, the times when maybe things weren't easy for them, and the video games that they turn to be comforted, to learn something about themselves, to learn something about the world, or maybe just to be distracted in the most simple, superficial kind of way. I love that stuff. The first season, I didn't really know what I was doing. I just kind of had to really sell the show to people. We made I had some great conversations. We had some great episodes. I'm super proud of it. And season 2, the weird thing is, and you know this because you've had EP on the air since 1967. How long is it? It's been a long time. The people in season 2, people come to me now. People are pitching me their stories, and so I don't have to go to them and say, I kind of want to do something like this.
now they come to me and they're like, this is what I got. Can you use it? And so that's certainly made production a little bit easier in season 2. The stories are bigger and more complex. We've released 3 of the 10 episodes for season 2. So far, we did Christine last weekend. Christine was a woman who we know from Toronto, Christine Van Schaik. She was great. Like, her story is amazing. And the week, 2 weeks before that was a father and a daughter. I'm trying to do more women and families in this season. We had a lot of, just like regular dudes in the first season, and so I wanted to mix it up a little bit. But the father and daughter, Simon and Abby, they were great too. And this weekend coming up, I have a guy from Los Angeles who is a glam rocker. So he's a very talented guy, but he went through something incredible, and it's an amazing episode. And the great thing that I love about it is I try to give my guests a chance to connect with the people who made the game so they can say thank you. I just feel like as I get older, gratitude is important. I look for ways to express gratitude. Like, I just wanted to say that up front, how much I love you and appreciate the fact that you gave me a chance as an introverted writer in New York City. Like, I never wanted to be on camera. I never wanted anybody to see me. I just wanted to be alone, but you believed in me. And so, like,
that was your secret.
Yeah, that was my secret.
No, that is one of the reasons why you were so great. It wasn't this, and are so great, but it wasn't this drive to look at me.
Yeah.
It was an honest, like, let's peel this back and let's see what we get. And the conversations were always wonderful. And now I got to tell you that I'm incredibly proud of not just the fact that you're showing off your ability to generate these stories, because you've always had that, but the fact that you're doing this for yourself and on your own, and you're learning technologies and different ways to share these stories, and having to learn these disciplines is incredibly powerful. And I'm so proud that you're doing that. I still believe, though, you should be doing more stuff on camera, because look at this mug. Look at this mug, right?
All right, that's enough. By the way, I don't know if this is your $10 toupee or if this is the $7 one. It looks like the $10 toupee.
I got the $10 one on today, yeah.
Yeah, it looks great. That one is the one you got with a free bowl of soup, right?
That's correct. That's right. Okay. Got the soup, got the toupee.
No, but anyway, I just wanted to sort of finish my thought, and that is I just try to say thank you to the video game developers who made the game. And because I worked with you for so long, and because I have a long history in the industry, I'm able to reach these people. Nobody thanks these people. Nobody goes to these people and says, thank you for making this. This made a big difference in my life.
I do.
And that's a huge part of the show.
Yes.
Recording that moment and sharing that with other people. And I think the guests on the show are thrilled that they get a chance to have a moment with these people,
totally.
and just to say thank you, and everybody says the same thing, like, thank you, like, that means so much that you told me this. I'm going to share it with the rest of the team. So if people start making better games in the future, it's probably because of my show.
Well, what I love about the show too is the honesty can get really hard. And you've got a lot of episodes where you're crying, and you've revealed a lot about your history. And I'm not going to spoil anything here. This is for people to consume at their leisure. But it is unbelievably revelatory, and I think that was the impetus, right? It was a bit of you wanting to interview other people and mine these stories and get them out there, but also you wanted to kind of, I think, come clean with your story too a bit, right?
Yeah, I didn't know that though. Like I wanted to make something. I didn't know what I was going to do after EP. I didn't know. And so I moved and I was just trying to record stuff, and I bought this podcasting equipment. And then one day, like, a light bulb went off, and I was actually at one of the conferences here in Toronto about podcasting, and I just had this idea to do a show where I talk to people about hard times in their lives, whether it's breakups, whether it's they got bad news from the doctor, whether they got fired from a job, tell their story, and then the game that they played when they were going through that difficult time. And it's just like, I was so excited when I had that idea. I just thought, this is what I want to do. This is exactly what I want to build. But man, Vic, you know this from doing, like, you've been doing EP for what, 24 years, 25 years,
25.
Like, like you had to bust your ass. Like you had to learn all this stuff on your own. You had to learn how I remember you talking about learning a new Final Cut or something when you were
Yep.
you were editing one of the films together and you were running out of time. And then all of a sudden you got a new Final Cut and you're sleeping at the office. It's just like that.
We switched from Avid to Final Cut when we got the Metal Gear Solid 4 making of, and that nearly killed us. We almost died, but we shipped the damn show and it turned out great. Yeah.
But that's inspiring, you know. And it's just like the other thing the great thing that came out of EP and reviews is, getting to know somebody like Stephen Nikolic. You know, like he's been a huge asset. I know he's helped you with some things too, but he's helped the podcast big time. Like he is an audio genius. So I do my rough cut, I pull it all together, I put it in the order I want it in, and I do it all, and then he finalizes it, and it somehow is, leagues away from where it was originally. I don't know how he does it.
He is wonderful. He did the most recent rev of the EP website as well, and cleaned it all up and simplified it so that Blake and I aren't freaking out trying to figure out how to do HTML in addition to the million episodes of these shows that we make. Yeah. He is wonderful. So shout out to Stephen. But listen, I want to talk to you a little bit about some of these interviews that you have to do get sad. And how do you deal with that? Are you, like, people in the room are crying. They're crying on tape as you're recording some of this. Are you also getting... Like, do you take a moment? Like, what happens?
Yeah,
because I don't do the Barbara Walters so much on EP. You know what I'm saying?
I want to do. That's exactly right. I want to do a Barbara Walters video game show. Like, that's honestly, that's what I want. Something that's real and raw and honest and really sort of, shines a flattering light on gamers. And
well, how do you emotionally do that? How do you ask somebody and then they get into it and they're crying, they're making the listener cry. Are you crying as you're recording, or can you?
Of course. Like if I'm not moved, then I don't have a good story. If honestly, you remember I did one episode about Sid Bolton. Yeah. From the first season.
Yes.
Like I probably had to listen to that interview with him while editing it, like probably 40 times, and every time I listened to it, Vic, I would cry. I would cry. And, like the thing that I also sort of realized is like, I don't really cry naturally in my life. Yeah. Tears just don't spring to my eyes. I know we would go to a movie and we'd see something.
And then we'd talk about how the Bears are doing.
Yeah, but you would like, sometimes I'd look over at you and you're crying and I'm just like, I don't know what he's crying about. Like you cry, you're like a baby. Like it's beautiful to watch.
I'm a dad, man. That's what happens.
I've never been able to do that. And so what I'm trying to do, like life, like it's always evolving and changing, and we're always have new things to learn. And one of the things I'm trying to learn is to be more in touch with my own emotions. And making the show is one of the ways that I reach myself, And so I want people to go deep. When people are pitching their stories to me, one of my questions to them is like, have you been in therapy? I need to know that they are able to be introspective and that they're able to go to those darker places, because otherwise the story is not going to have any teeth. And I need the story to have teeth. I need people to really feel, I need listeners to feel what my guests feel. And it's hard to get there. You're right. It's so hard to get there. And sometimes I'll leave an interview and I'll go home and, my partner and producer on the show, Sarah, she'll listen to the interview and she's like, I think there's a great story here. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't really hear it yet. And I'm too close to it. I'm too close. Yeah. And then over time, I just see it in a different light. I see it from a different angle. I'm like, oh, I put this here, then this here, and I move this here. I'm trying to talk less about myself this season, because last season ended with 3 episodes about my life. Yeah. But the reason why I felt okay telling that story was I was so empowered by the guests that I had last season. Yeah. And I felt like, wow, these guests, like the Sarah and Dave episode from Winnipeg, these were 2 people who watched EP and reviews, and they loved the shows, and they always watched us, and they loved all of it, and they trusted me. They trusted me because of the history of watching us on TV for so many years, and they opened their hearts up. Both of them, it was really like, that's when I knew we had something really special.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just like you got to go there. Like nobody wants to. We all want to leave it behind. We just want to numb ourselves and binge watch another stupid TV show on Netflix. But sometimes just put that binge watch aside and just give yourself over to feelings and really feel, like really experience where you are and how you feel right now and how the people around you are making you feel. Ask yourself those questions. They're not always easy to answer, but there's something you could learn something about yourself that's valuable for tomorrow.
Well, in all of your writing, it sort of echoes this sentiment too. You've always dug for the personal in these, pieces that are about technology or products, and you've always tried to attach a humanity to this stuff. So this does feel like a really natural evolution for you as a content creator. And I'm wondering if there is ever any desire to turn this into a video documentary. Do you ever think that this should be a television thing, or?
I mean, sure. Right now, I'm just trying to find a sponsor. Like honestly, we make no money doing this. Steven works for free. Sarah works for free. I work for free. We put in, we don't, I put in the most time for sure. It's my show, and I try to take care of as much as I can. I've invested hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into this because I'm learning, and I'm learning how audio works, and I'm trying to learn how editing works, and I'm trying to learn how to do sound ups and voiceover, and a lot of stuff I learned from you for sure, frankly. But making a TV show, that's a whole different beast. What I'm trying to do is sort of keep the parameters of this, the production parameters, small.
Sure.
So I can keep making it, and I can make it cheaply, and I can do it on my own. And for sure, I'd love to find a sponsor, and it's hopefully at some point one will step out of the darkness and reveal him or herself. But I'm also okay just making it on my own. I feel like I get paid, spiritually from the work that I'm doing.
Well, my philosophy on that, and it's very much the more you do, the more opportunities come up. And the more that you put out into the world, people pay attention to that, and you get recognized. And I got to tell you, like I go to a lot of events, and I'm on the road, and people always ask about you from the video game industry, and they say I just had Will Ho on the show talking about NHL 20, and he talked about you, and he loves the podcast. I hear that all the time, no matter where I go. So you're making a massive impression out there. Have you heard from somebody, maybe not from games, somebody out of the blue that is a listener that just gave you a nice note or some feedback that just blew you away?
I don't know if I should say this, but, Ted Price has been so supportive. Ted from Insomniac.
We love Ted.
Yeah, he's such a good person, and he built such an amazing studio. And, I reached out to him a couple times, and Ted, I'm making this show, and I don't know if it's a weird concept, but it works like this. And he gave it a listen, and he gave me an endorsement, and it just made such a huge difference for me. And between us, like I guess there's an audience there, so I can't really say that.
Yeah, it's between us and everybody here and everybody watching.
I like those people. But yeah, I asked Ted if he would be a guest this season. I'm like, Ted, you got to give me a story. And then Ted gave me something else, and you'll find out what it is later this season. But
that's
I
awesome.
couldn't do it without Ted. But I try to stay off social media. I don't like it. I don't want to be I'm not an influencer. I don't care. I just want to make things that I really care about.
Yep.
But I'll check my Twitter once in a while, and I'll just get a random note from somebody who said, I was listening to your show this morning on my way to work, and I had to pull my car over because I was crying.
Yeah.
And that will make my day. That I was able to, that we were able as a team, and as the guest was able to tell a story that just moved people. I just want people to feel more. I want people to not numb out, and I want just feel those things, even if they're not fun to feel. Have a good cry. It might be, it might change you.
That is the thing that people always misunderstand about video games. The people that are removed from it or look down their nose at it or have, fear or suspicion about this medium is that it can be a drug. It can be a numbing kind of way to kind of exit the world for a while and disappear into the video game zone. But, it is also a ticket to emotion, and it's also a ticket to kind of deal with emotion. And there are real people on the other end of those controllers. And I feel like this beautiful service that you're doing to go and find these stories is incredibly valid and incredibly important, and will continue to grow in awareness. I know it will.
Yeah, again, it's just like I just hope people don't think it's just the sad video game show. I don't, just please just give it a shot before you decide it's not for you.
You have other kinds of stories too. They're not all horror stories or super sad stories, right?
They're mostly super sad. Yeah, this season.
Well, you know what?
Rough,
the Sid Bolton story was not. It was wonderful. What was sad was that we lost this incredible man,
Yeah.
And that you created this beautiful testament to this incredibly powerful individual that got to know everybody that I know, and he didn't have 2 daily TV shows. He just got to know everybody, and it speaks to the heart of the man that you really got to, and you got him on tape better than anybody else ever did,
I really did. I worked hard, and I just kept thinking like, wow. And I have all this great material from him, but it just was all kind of superficial, and Sid would just go down. Sid had his own way of thinking about games, and it was frustrating, and I just kind of kept digging for more and more and more and asking him for more and more and more. And I just miss him. I just, I still don't accept that he's gone. I just don't, and he was a great guy, and he did so much for the industry for so long, and I still stay in touch with Jen, his wife, and that was a big turning point too. There's always turning points. You feel this way making your show. Like there's always turning points. There's always a show that takes you to a new place that you didn't expect to go to. Sid was one of those shows for me from the first season. Ashley was one of those shows from the first season. Sarah and Dave, I said that already. They were one of those shows that was a big turning point for me. And now people are coming to me with stories all the time, pitching me stuff and wanting to be on the show. And so if anybody in the audience has a story, like season 2 is wrapped up at this point. I have a couple of celebrity guests later this season. Some people Vic, for sure.
Cool.
Who come on and really open up about themselves and really talk honestly. And that's really what that's where this show comes from. It comes from just being honest about who we are, rather than posting a photo about the hamburger we had for lunch today. Who are you? Like, how do you feel today? Let's talk about it. Let's have a real, honest conversation about it.
You're getting a sense of what it was like in our shared office before we went out and did reviews on the ride. It's like, shut up, just put your suit on and be funny. Let's go.
Dance, monkey, dance.
And you did dance very well, and we miss you very much.
I miss the dancing. I miss dancing with you. You're my favorite dance partner.
I know, brother. I know. Well, you are welcome back on this set and on this chair anytime. This chair is sitting here waiting for you.
All year, man.
Yeah. Come on back.
I would love to.
Yeah, come on back. Well, next time you are back, you are definitely going to come on the show, and we'll catch up on season 2. But if you're not watching, or if you're not, I see you should be watching. Look at this mug. If you are not listening to Heavily Pixelated, do yourself a favor and start downloading the podcast, and let Scott C. Jones know that you're impressed by his work and his art.
I hope you are. You might not be, but open yourself up a little bit. And it's a little different. It works for me. It might not be for you. Why are you laughing?
Trey, you got to just trust and feel. I love it, man. It's amazing.
I know. It's weird, man. I'm sitting here all the time by myself just editing these sad stories. Welcome to my life.
Well, it's wonderful. Hey, you know what? Before we go, I'm just going to take a quick scan right here. We got some comments here from Ramrod. Scott C. Jones, the god of reviewers. I'm right here. No, he is an excellent reviewer. Let's see what else we got here. The man himself. Well, Ramrod is listening to your stuff, my friend. You got a big fan there.
Oh boy, Ramrod.
Any questions? Yeah, Warco.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks to Scott because I listened to especially the episodes about his own life.
Yeah. Come up here so people can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, come up here.
You know, the weird thing about those episodes about my life were that those probably had the smallest amounts of downloads for the whole season. They were so
Oh, really?
hard for people to listen to. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll
Okay.
speak into yours.
Okay, Warco wants to say something, Scott, and this is for everybody at home too.
Yeah, Scott, I just wanted to say.
Sit down.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
I
Just
can't
wanted
see
to
you,
say,
Warco.
hey, how's it going? Just want to say thank you for especially those episodes because they were extremely challenging to listen to, and I imagine they're really challenging to make. And and for myself as a father, like I did a lot of reflection, you know, on kind of how I'm treating my children. I mean, yeah, it was. I would say it was something very worthwhile, and I you know, I compliment your courage to do that because it must have been rough.
Dude, I don't want to be afraid of anything anymore. Like I just don't. I don't want these old stories to stay in the dark and just keep haunting me. And instead I want to pull them into the light. And I want to look at them and I want to poke at them and I want to understand them and take away the power and just feel like I have some agency over these parts of my life. Like I knew I was molested my whole life, but I never consciously accepted it. You know, I never consciously accepted it. Sorry, Vic. I know this is EPN. You don't want to talk about play forever and everything.
But this is part of the honesty that's in the
show.
Heavily Pixelated, and it's part of your story, and it's all good. It's hard for me to talk about that, you know, without you here. But this is you talking about it, and you need to hear the story. I'm not going to get into the abuse in this interview. That's for you to tell. That story is for you to tell. And if, you know what, everybody's got some really dark stuff in their past.
They do.
Every one of us.
Everybody
and to listen to
does.
this is incredibly beneficial and therapeutic, man. And I'm proud of you, bro. I really am.
Thank you so much. Like I'm proud of, like, honestly, Vic, like I was inspired by what you had built there with EPN and reviews and for years and years you've just been doing it since the dawn of time, basically. But it's like, how could I not be inspired? How could I not go off and do my own thing that really seemed nutty? But it seems like I just want to express who I am and be myself 100%. And
you know
so
what?
that's all I'm trying to do with the show.
And I think that is the words of wisdom these two dudes that have been doing this for a long time are passing on to all of you. You only get one shot at this. You only get one. So don't settle in your life and don't do shit you don't want to do. You know, go chase a dream and believe in it, man. That's all you got. That's all we have. You know, even if there's no money in it anymore because everything is all weird. Who cares? Just follow those dreams and those passions and
just
and
keep your overhead low. Make a podcast instead of a TV show.
Yeah, it's true, dude.
And I couldn't afford to do this on my own, and I would have I'd have producers and money to worry about and equipment, and it's just like I just need intimacy and I need to keep the circle small. For sure, I would love to make a TV show about this, a documentary-based TV show about this. I think it would work. Well, I think people would watch that, but I don't have the tools to make it.
We should talk offline because I have some ideas about that. But that's going to do it for our visit with Scott C. Jones. I got one more question. Okay, go for it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Come on up. Okay.
Oh, man.
We need a Phil Donahue solution in the thing.
Yeah. Somebody to... Is Blake
one
there?
More camera person and a Phil Donahue mic. Yeah, what's your name?
My name's Jeremy. Hi.
Hey, Jeremy. Scott's right there. I don't know. Can you see Jeremy?
Hey, Scott.
No, there he is. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's it going? I just wanted to say really quick, because I was dying. I had to take some time out of my schedule, my very hectic schedule, just to come by and say hello. Even if it was through Skype, I just want to say that you are super inspiring to me. And a lot of people grew up with the kind of Tommy and Vic kind of era, but I was actually someone who grew up with the Vic and Scott kind of era of things, right? So it's nostalgic of me you're making all these ex-wife jokes and all that. So yeah, and I just want to say that Heavily Pixelated, it is super powerful to me, and it's kind of inspired me to sort of create my own work, just to sort of summarize that very briefly.
Awesome.
So
Yeah, that's great.
Very good, brother. Very good.
Thank you so
Jeremy.
much for saying
Thank
that.
you.
Listen, if you guys if you guys could on iTunes leave me a review, helps me a ton. Vic, it's just the marketing stuff. I'm not good at this, but
Yeah, me neither.
I need to I need help. Like I need more listeners. So if you can tell a friend about the show, that'll help me a ton. Like more people should listen to this. I feel like nobody's doing anything like this at this point. It's just me and Steven and Sarah, and so we do it with all of our full hearts that we put into this, and we want the audience to hear these things. So thank you, Vic. I appreciate it.
The EP army has been activated, so people are gonna be downloading and listening if they haven't already. All right, my friend.
That's great. Thank
great
you,
to
sir.
see you.
Great to see you.
Please come back and be a live guest soon. Okay, my friend.
I will. I would love that. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Thank you, Scott.